Hi everybody, I'm Hector Garcia, and today we're going to talk about the free version of QuickBooks. Now, this is part of their self-employed business or solopreneur program. And I'll put a link in the description so you can see this page. And you will notice that one of the options that it gives you is a free edition. It's not temporarily, it seems to be free forever, and it says no credit card required, so that's pretty great. And then there is a natural progression from free to solopreneur for $20 a month. And then afterwards, the real QuickBooks Online, which is QuickBooks Online Simple Start, which starts at around $38 a month. And then there's a whole bunch of other options afterwards. We can talk about that after. Now, this free edition, before we get into it, it says subject to limited availability. It may be discontinued or changed at any time. So basically, it's a test. It's for a single user. You cannot add an accountant. So I'm not super happy about that. As an accountant, I want to be able to service all sorts of QuickBooks clients. I don't know what the strategy behind that is. Maybe they don't want accountants to be putting clients on that, and they just want sort of business owners on their own kind of starting in there. But the next version of the solopreneur does allow accountant access. So I'm just speculating as to what the logic is. It does allow you to accept payments. So QuickBooks does make extra money by allowing you to accept credit card payments because they take a percentage of that. It can only allow you to do up to 2 invoices. So that's interesting. 1 estimate. Now, why 1 estimate and 2 invoices? That's kind of silly. It kind of should go the other way. It should be like 4 estimates, 2 invoices, right? Because usually you end up selling, I would say, less than what you putting estimates out. So I'm not sure why 1 estimate only. Hopefully they change that. And connect 1 bank account. This obviously is going to be the biggest inconvenience. Again, this is free. So we're going to get into it and kind of see how that workflow goes. So I'm going to click on sign up, put my email address, a password, my phone number. There's a little checkbox here for optional. I'm not sure exactly what that means. Maybe I could check that. You can leave that off. And then I go to create Intuit account. Now I got a text message to my cell phone number. Now I'm going to make the assumption that because there's a text message workflow, that this only works in the United States. I can't confirm that, but I'm in the United States. I don't know if it works outside of the US, so I'm going to assume this is US only. And then it goes to the setup business. I'm going to put here Hector's side hustle. Click on next. Let's say I'm new at this. Next. Industry, let's put consulting maybe. Okay. Let's do some marketing consulting services, business type solopreneur, and less than $1 million a year. Next. My role is I'm the owner. I have just me. Click on next. And I want to skip setting up payments because that requires you to put your bank account information and all that stuff. That's for you to be able to get payments through QuickBooks invoices. So I'm going to skip that. And then the bank accounts too. I'm going to skip that. And I'm going to go through the manual process of connecting bank accounts. I'm just going to skip that. Then what do you want to do in QuickBooks? Let's say get and manage customers, track sales, send track invoices, manage bill pay, whatever. Click on next. I'm not sure what to do with this information. It doesn't change anything. I think it's just them picking up intelligence about who the customers are and what motivates them to get into QuickBooks. Okay, interestingly enough, this looks exactly like QuickBooks Online that I'm used to, so I like that. Let's see, under Create, we have Invoice, Payment Links, Receive Payment, Statement, Estimate, Sales Receipt, Add Customer. Okay, good. Under Vendors, we have Expense, Check, Bill. Click on Bill. You can create bills. That's very curious. I wasn't expecting being able to do bill payments here. Okay, pretty cool. Let's see, purchase order, of course, that wouldn't be included. Let's see, payroll. Can I add payroll into this one? Okay, so to add payroll, I would have to upgrade to Simple Start. So I have to be on the real version of QuickBooks Online. So that makes sense. That's a good point there. Let's see what else we have. So we have task, bank deposit. Let me click on bank deposit. Yeah, that looks exactly like QuickBooks. All right, so the create button looks exactly like QuickBooks. Payroll stuff will require you to be on the real version of QuickBooks on Simple Start and up. But this area here, type of transactions, looks very complete. So I'm pretty impressed about that. Let's go into reports and see what kind of reports we have. Okay, so we're limited to profit and loss, balance sheet, and account list. I'm actually pretty impressed that we do get a balance sheet, because I remember in previous kind of lower version products, the self-employed products, you couldn't see a balance sheet. That's pretty cool. Let's go into my apps, accounting. Okay, we have bank accounts. I'm gonna make the assumption that all these things that have the diamond in it will require you to upgrade to some higher version to be able to do that. So payroll, of course, we already looked into that. Time, that makes sense. Inventory, that makes sense. Bill payments, so having the ability to pay bills electronically, that requires you to be in a higher version. Sales channels, e-commerce integration, that makes sense. Let me see what else. Everything else. Sales tax. Okay, so it doesn't support sales tax most likely. Let me click on that, see what happens. See if it tells me to upgrade. Okay, so it also tells me to upgrade to simple start. So sales tax is not supported on this application. Let's see, business tax. Okay, that's included. That means that there might be some referrals from here into TurboTax. Let's see, lending. Okay, interesting enough. You can go into some of the QuickBooks checking products. And I think that's it. Okay, that's a good start. Let's go into bank transactions. And let's go ahead and link my bank. So let's see. I can click on link accounts. Then I can log in into my bank and bring those transactions in. Now I have 2 accounts selected here. So I'm going to assume that this is going to give me a error at some point. So let me say mainly personal, mainly business, and then I'll try to execute the connection with 2 accounts, which should give me an error. Okay, it hasn't given me an error so far. So there's savings and checking. I wonder if what they mean by one connection means connecting to only one bank, not necessarily one account. So I'm not sure if there might be a fluke here where it's allowing me to connect multiple accounts, even though I said only one account, or maybe what they mean by one account, they mean one bank connection. So I'm going to test it out by trying to connect a different bank right after this, but it looks like it's allowing me to bring those 2 bank accounts in one connection. Okay, let's click on done. And okay, so that's two accounts connected. Oh wait, you've hit your account limit. Upgrade to connect more accounts and stay on top of your money. Okay, so I assume that maybe allows me to do one connection, or that's very interesting here. Let me click on upgrade to connect, see what happens. Okay, same thing happens. You reach a free user limit, upgrade to simple start. Okay, now it did let me download some of the transactions because I see the 2 separate accounts that have brought transactions in. So I'm not sure what is going to happen in the future. But anyway, ignore that for a second. Who knows if maybe they changed that workflow to stop you from connecting a second account from the very beginning. But it looks like we did something we weren't supposed to. But anyway, assume that you connected only one bank account. So here's how this screen works. There's a filter button where you can choose which account you want to bring from. So I can click on one account, click apply, and it only shows me the transactions from that one account. Or I can switch to the other account, click on apply, and then I can see the transactions from that account. So it allows me to switch from bank account A, bank account B. I like that. Now, once I go from, I guess, the free version to the solopreneur version, that's $20 a month, I won't have a limit on the number of bank accounts that I can have. So that's kind of the first thing. Second thing is you can grab multiple transactions here. So you can shift click. Oh, actually shift click doesn't work, of course, into it. So you can manually click on each one of these, click on assign category, and then you'll be able to put any category in here. So I'm just going to grab one at random here and batch select all those things to those categories. Now, as I scroll down, you see more transactions here, and it'll give you suggestions. So you can click on the specific category that it chose for you, and you can change it to something else. So you can change it to whatever you want. There's also a little button here that allows you to switch whether it's a personal or a business transaction. That's kind of interesting unto itself. And so we'll go back and see if we have a chart of accounts or a list of categories so we can kind of see what that looks like. Okay. So on each of these transactions, you just pick, everything you want to do on them, right? You just click on whatever category you want. And again, you can swap from business to personal. And I'm sure that's going to have some other consequence that we can look up later. There's a little pencil button here. Let's see what that does. Okay, the pencil button allows you to kind of open the transaction, like spread open the transaction. Allows you to add a split. That's good. So if I want to do, part, let's say, 5,000 business, and the other split would be the balance, whatever the balance is. Let's see. Okay, let me see. It could do. Does it do the math for me? Oh yeah, it does the math for me. Okay, good. So here's a portion that's personal, a portion that's business, and there's, okay, it'll know. So if the category I picked is from the personal grouping, it will click personal here. But if I click on business, it changes the category from, or it still allows me to grab both, but then you should literally pick the category from your business category. Then we click on save. That saves that transaction. Now I'm going to select all of these. So let me just accept them. No, I can't accept them. So fortunately, I kind of have to click on them. It's a weird, like there isn't a batch acceptance of it. Like if everything is categorized correctly, there's no way to accept them in batch. So I have to click on it and then click on it again, I guess, and click out. Is it there? Okay. Oh, I see. Okay. So I have to select, so transfer is not an option. Transfer is kind of a peg holder. I have to pick something from that drop down in order to accept it. So I have to go into each one of these and accept it. Very interesting. Now this one's interesting. This one's credit card payment, but it doesn't tell me the particular account. So as a QuickBooks user, I'm slightly kind of weirded out by this. Again, it's not clear to me how to accept it as is. Like contract labor, boom. Or maybe they're supposed to just, oh, okay, this is sorted by category. That's why. So these don't go away. They automatically get booked into your register, and then you just change the category. So essentially, once you connect to the bank, everything went into the books automatically. So that part was kind of confusing. So I wasn't, yeah, right. I see what you're saying. So every time I select it, that's just the category that it takes, and it doesn't go away. So I'm kind of used to the banking feed where in the banking feed they kind of go away. So that's just me not understanding that. So this is basically a combination between the bank feed and the information that's in the register. Now there's a reconcile button. Let's go reconcile here. And that goes through the standard reconciliation process. So let's see, this is 5,000. And today's date, start reconciling. And this probably looks exactly like a QuickBooks online reconciliation. It does. Beautiful. Okay. So you would go through a standard reconciliation process here. And if everything was downloaded from the bank, it should have been automatically cleared. So this could be a bug, or I'm not sure why some of these are cleared and some of them are not. Because technically, if they're all brought in from the bank, well, okay. So I guess only the transfers have the challenge where those are not cleared. So, but yeah, this is what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to clear from the bank automatically. I have a feeling that this whole transfers thing, let's go back into transactions. This whole, all these things that say transfer are a little bit confusing. I think they are going to be confusing. Can I pick category transfer? Is this an option? Let's see if I can go down here and find category transfer. Apply all my transfers. Maybe I'll select all these and make it something else. I think those transfers are confusing. Okay, that's something. Let me X out of that. And maybe I don't have any more transfers. Let's just make sure. Transfer strike again. If you're a QuickBooks user, you might have battle scars with transfer. Okay, it looks like everything there is being categorized, so to speak. Okay, good. So then if I go back into my reconcile, maybe I don't have those weird things that are not checked. Some still are. I don't know. I may have to go back and try to figure out exactly what these transfers mean, because they're a little bit confusing. But the point is, you would go through a reconciliation process. If I click on these transactions and I go to edit, it doesn't. So there's an error. So QuickBooks, released this with an error. because it's trying to open a natural transaction, and when I click on edit, QuickBooks doesn't give you access to a natural transfer transaction, which is a real transaction, by the way, in the QuickBooks world. What about this deposit? Is this editable? Yeah. So the deposits are available because that's a natural transaction that this QuickBooks Free has access to, but they got to fix the problem with transfers. Don't worry, somebody from Intuit will watch this video and be embarrassed and fix it. But kind of found that bug in there. So anyway, okay. So we got reconciliation, we got banking, so we can kind of see how that works. Let me go and pull up a report. Let's see a profit and loss report. And again, everything was automatically categorized for me. Let me do all dates here. And by the way, I'm really impressed that you get a standard QuickBooks report. I love that. And you can, wow, look at this. By customer, by employee. Let me see by customer. Look at, okay, I guess I don't have any customers in there, but let's see by months. Look at that. That's pretty powerful for being the free version of QuickBooks. Like, seriously. Let's see, customize. Oh, I can do filters. That's amazing. Okay, so all the same things I can do in a regular QuickBooks file for reporting. Can I drill down? Let me click on this. I can even see drill down reports. That's incredible. Customize. Can I run? Look at this. I can run filters on this. Wow. I'm impressed that they gave us the entire QuickBooks reporting system on this free version of QuickBooks. So that's pretty neat. I find it to be particularly cool. Let's look at the balance sheet. Now look, a real balance sheet. That's kind of amazing. Really, truly, kind of amazing. And what's really cool is all these personal categories are basically different equity accounts. I probably would have nested all these under one category called personal, and then nest them all in there. That way I don't have a humongous equity list of accounts. I wish I could just have one grouping and collapse it. Let's see if we get a chart of accounts in this thing. Do we get a chart of accounts? No access to a chart of accounts. I wonder if there's some other place where I can access that. Let me see, in home, we get a dashboard, which is pretty neat. That works. Let's see a feed. This is the AI stuff. Okay, AI stuff is not included in this version. You have to go into Simple Start to get all the AI stuff. Let's see on my apps, accounting. So they did take away a chart of accounts as something that you can manipulate from here. I'm gonna try to go to direct URL for chart of accounts because I actually have that saved in there. See, okay, it doesn't work. So even if you knew the direct URL for chart of accounts, you couldn't access it. So it looks like that list of categories is not accessible or editable through this free edition of QuickBooks. And I don't see any other place where I could edit that. I don't know why I'm getting a payroll pop-up when I have to go into Simple Start anyway. So QuickBooks needs to fix, the pop-ups that go into this version. Let's go into expenses. Let's see. Okay, so that's working. The expenses dashboard, which is great. List of vendors. So I don't remember a place where I could pick the vendor in there. Let me go back. Let me add vendor and let's do, I don't know, let's do 7-Eleven or something like that. Click on save. So I get my full vendor list. Bills, let's see, can I create a bill? I can create a bill. 7-Eleven. And I can pick a category. Now, interestingly enough, I get a normal chart of accounts in here. I don't get the weird categories things. I'm not sure what the deal with this is. Like I have a feeling that QuickBooks mistakenly, it's allowing you to access all these modules that are more natural QuickBooks modules in this free edition. I have a feeling they're going to go back and watch this video and realize, whoops, we probably should have blocked these things. So it doesn't make sense to have a full regular chart of accounts here, but then have a whole different experience with this whole personal and business categories. So, and then look, schedule online payment. That should send me, let me see if it sends me to the upgrade. No, it sends me to this weird page. Okay. That's weird. Let me see, mark as paid. Yeah, so I can mark it as paid. I just can't do scheduled payments, which makes sense because it wasn't listed in there. Do save and close. Now, I wonder if that payment shows up in, let me go back and look at this bill payment. That's in my cash on hand on 2/12. So if I go back into my transactions and I go look at, let's say, the date, just do it this month. Interestingly enough, the payment doesn't show up here. So that's weird unto itself. And again, I'm applying QuickBooks logic to this because I was able to create a natural transaction that hit the bank, but I can't see the transaction that I created in there. Now, did I pick a different bank account? Let me see. See, I only have access to Sophia and this Cloud Tax Advisors. So let me go back to see which account I used on the bill payment. Oh, I used cash on hand. So the cash on hand register is not available. So let me use the Cloud Tax Advisors one. Click Save and Close. Okay. And then see if I filter and see that, if that shows up. And let's do this month. Where is it? This month. See, the bill payment doesn't show up there. So there's something logically broken with this because I don't have access to registers. Now, let me see if I know the direct URL for register. If it works. Let me see if I go straight into the register. It should give me an error and not give me access to it. Or maybe randomly it would. I just happen to know the URL directly. Okay, it just hangs up there. Okay. Oh, there we go. So let's see, Cloud Tax Advisors. So my bill payment shows up here. So the register is available, but there's no direct link to the register. I just happen to know the link to the register. So I don't know if that's on purpose or what the heck the story is on that. Let me see if I go back to chart of accounts. It gives me an error because it's not meant to do that. Let's see what else we got here. What else is worth looking at? By the way, I know if you feel this is a little bit embarrassing, like Hector, what the heck are you doing? It's because this is kind of how my relationship with Intuit works. They release something that's broken. I try to make a video about it. I try to show excitement about it. And in the middle of me testing it, everything is broken. And essentially, I am Intuit's best unpaid beta tester. Like I play with this, I criticize it, they look at the video, and they go back and they fix things. But what they really should have done is they should have called me and say, hey, I'm working on this product. Can you test it for me? And in a matter of 30 seconds, I can point out everything that's broken. But instead, Intuit either doesn't test their product, use internal employees that have no idea, like how are they qualified to test the product, or whoever they use to test the product are a bunch of idiots because they can't recognize a simple workflow that's broken in logic. So I can't begin to tell you the level of frustration that I would have as an end user getting excited about this free product or this new edition or whatever it is, and then going here and getting all sorts of weird errors because they don't naturally know what this is supposed to do or not supposed to do. Only like a QuickBooks Power user like me, and I'm sure a lot of you watching this, notice that these things just don't work the way they're supposed to. Now let's explore budgeting. Let's see budgeting. Okay, that's good. It tells me that I need to go to a different version of QuickBooks. Now this is interesting because this is the first time that I see this scaling, this multiple choice option of different things I can upgrade to. And I will see we're in the current plan that says free. Now there's a light, okay, which is, I think they call it solopreneur on the other page. Now, why in the world would you call it one thing somewhere and another thing somewhere else? That's just classic QuickBooks, right? They do this all the time. So this is solopreneur / light. I like light. I think that's a interesting name. Again, let me see. You can do connect 2 bank accounts. That's interesting. So the first one I was limited to 1, even though it kind of let me. I'm not sure if that was a fluke or not. On this light, you can do 2 bank accounts. I wonder if that's 1 bank account and 1 credit card. Not clear if it's just a totality of banks and credit cards. I could do automated bill pay, so that bill pay feature opens up here. the mobile app is not available in the free edition. I think that's a mistake. Make the mobile app available everywhere, I think. You get sales tax on Lite, which is interesting, and manage 3 contractors. Why 3? That's so random. Okay, so that's assuming those are the contractors that you give 1099s to, so you can have at most those. Now, once you get into the QuickBooks Online world, simple start and up, then this thing goes all the way up to $275, and then you can go through and look at all the features. Of course, the higher the version, the more AI it has and more users and all that good stuff. But what I liked about this is the ability to jump from one to the other. So let me click here and choose plan. And then there's the workflow to put your credit card in there. Now, I'm not going to go through this just because I want to go back and explore the app a little bit. But if, in fact, the data flows smoothly from this free edition to the light edition to the simple start, then I could get totally behind this, right? Because that's the biggest problem that the old self-employed edition had, self-employer edition, whatever it's called. You couldn't go. So like, I think they made a major platform shift where they're putting everybody on the same exact platform, which I really enjoy, which also leads me to believe that I can add apps to this. So if I go to like apps.com and look for, and look for an app to add, okay, I should be able to get the app and connect it. Get app now. Okay, and it seems to be connecting. So I venture to say that in this QuickBooks free edition, you can in fact add different apps. I haven't gotten any errors here. It says the import has been completed. I don't know if this is by design or not, but this specific app called Fathom HQ, which pulls data from QuickBooks and it can create reports, seems to be able to work. Like it hasn't given me an error. So let's see if it pulls any data. A bunch of zeros. I don't know. Maybe it has to do with the data set that I have. Let's pull up maybe last year. But there's some data. There's some data here. So yeah, there you go, some data. So it is pulling data. So it seems to be working. Again, I haven't verified if those numbers are okay or whatever. So it looks like I can add a third-party app. Now, I don't know if that's by design or by mistake or by omission or whatever, but there's a little button up here, which is the integrated apps icon. You're supposed to click on that and it's supposed to give you which apps are connected to QuickBooks. Nothing is showing. So I don't know if they meant to disable that or what the story is with that. Let's go back into gear. Again, I'm a little bit weirded out that I can't access the chart of accounts. That's something I really would have liked to do. Let's go into account and settings. See what's in here. Okay. All right, this is all standard. This is exactly the kind of stuff that we see in QuickBooks Online. So that's pretty expansive. It's got everything that we're used to seeing in QuickBooks Online. Perfect, beautiful. So I like that. Let's see, we have our search. Let's go into advanced search. And yeah, I got my advanced search. I got all my transactions here. So the advanced search is working. Let's see what else is worth exploring. Let's see. Business tax. Let's take a look at this. This could be interesting. Let's do a tax summary. And here's some information about last year. There's another link bank account button. Not sure why that's there. That seems kind of weird. And then here's our numbers. Okay, it's good. So it feeds data into the tax estimate. This is working. There's a workflow here. Maximize your 2024 business tax deductions. That should say 2025, people. Jesus. Okay. Okay, so that's working. Let's say the overview. Let's see what this is. So tax at glance. Okay, I've seen that before. Year-end filing. I assume that moves into TurboTax. And this might be the end game, folks. The reason why there's a free version of QuickBooks is maybe possibly to eventually get there. So it's either that or payments, credit card payments. The thing is that you can only create, what is it, 2 invoices per month. They're not going to make a whole bunch of money, through the invoices. So I'm not sure still exactly what the end game here is. Let's create an invoice. We got our standard services here. Let me add a new product. Let's try this again. Add a new product, and I could do service or non-inventory item. That makes sense, right? Obviously not an inventory item, but that's the same stuff that we're used to seeing in QuickBooks. Even categories, which I find that interesting. So let's say this is 2 times 500. That's at the $500,000 invoice. Save, and you can even, I assume you can even send it. Review and send. You can email it to whoever you're going to email that to. Okay, beautiful. Now let's go in the gear menu, and this thing caught my attention here. Custom fields. Custom fields. Let's see. Add custom field. That's interesting. Custom field 1. It's a drop-down list, and we have A, B, and X, Y. This is a transaction custom field available in invoices. Click on save. X out of that, or no? Did this save? Let's see. No. Okay, this is like weird bug in here. Okay, an unexpected error has occurred. So I guess it doesn't support custom fields, but instead of removing it, they left it here, so the thing just gives an error. That's dumb. They gotta fix that. I'm gonna make the assumption that custom fields are not part of this, and this is a slip up basically. Let's see, products and services. There's my traditional product and service list. I can create my products and services here. Let's do test and pick. Put that in there. That way I see my list of products and services. I can do my categories here. I can batch import. That's interesting. I do get batch import for items. Probably not very common for companies that only do 2 invoices or whatever, but on the next edition of this, on the light edition or whatever, if you have unlimited invoices, you may want to have a lot of products and items. A lot of the functionality that's in QuickBooks Online, it's in here, which I find that to be odd in a good way, for customers. But I have a feeling that a lot of these things weren't meant to be here. Again, I haven't talked to anybody into it about this. This thing showed up and surprised me the same way this is probably surprising you. Look, here's my estimate screen, which looks identical to the regular estimate screen in QuickBooks, so nothing new here. Okay, this is the one that's only one estimate. It's so weird. Let's see what happens when I try to create a second estimate. Let's see if I can make a copy of this one. Okay, you noticed it. You noticed it. I wonder if it's one for the life of QuickBooks, or if it's one per month. Okay, what makes the most sense is one per month. Who knows? Now, what if I edit this estimate, and because the logical thing is I can edit it and then make it, decline it, save it, and then see if I can create a new one, because this is no longer like a real estimate. Just to create estimate, I exceeded my limit. So that's a really weird logic. They should probably fix that. What if I delete it? So let me delete it. Yes, delete it. Boom. Now if I try to create it, it allows me. So it's the existence of the estimate right now. And I don't know if that allows you to do one a month, or it's just the existence of the estimate. Let's see the same thing with the invoice, because it was limited to 2 invoices, correct? So let's go into here and do a duplicate of the invoice. Save that. So now I got 2 invoices. So I assume if I try to do a third invoice, let me X out of that, do one more, it hits my limit. Okay. What if I delete one of these invoices? Let's say if I delete one of the invoices, actually, I'm going to void it first. Void it. create invoice, it hit my limit. So as long as the invoice exists, I can't. Now, if I delete the invoice, I assume the logic will work here. Create invoice. Yeah. So if I delete it, it's fine. If I void it, it's not fine. So that's interesting. That logic is working well. I think it's working as designed. It's just not clear to me whether it's 2 invoices per month or 2 invoices for the life of QuickBooks. I wonder how that's hard coded into it. There's probably a whole bunch of other things I could test. Let me see rules. Okay, rules allows me forces me to go to simple start. So they should probably, I think logically they should put the little diamond on the rules here, or remove it completely. Because what the heck is the point of having that and not having the diamond? That's inconsistent. Let's see if receipts works. Receipts does work. So if I upload a PDF in there, let's say we just grab one of these PDFs, upload that in there. It looks like it's going to use the workflow logic. Again, the challenge is this going to match it to an existing transaction? Is this going to show up in the register bank transactions list or whatever? Let's see what this. Let's see. Go review. Let's make this into a receipt. Payee, bank account, and let's give it a dollar amount. You can select a customer, which I find it super interesting that you can like job cost things in this free edition of QuickBooks. That's super interesting. Do save and close. Okay, was that saved? Review, save and next maybe. Oh, I gotta pick a transaction date. Save and next. Okay, it can match. It even matches. That's pretty cool. That's interesting. Let's go to create check. It does allow me to create the checks. Okay, one thing to keep in mind is that this is not verifying against things that were already created through the bank download. So anything I create here will be additional transactions, and it'll probably be a hot mess for the reconciliation. So it's not clear to the user that this workflow could be a little bit broken. Let's see, let's go to expense. An interesting thing on this one is, on this screen, I don't get the customer job information in there that was showing in the receipts screen. So obviously, it's not meant for you to do job costing. I think they just forgot to remove that customer job column from the receipts screen. So I'll stop there. I think it's super interesting that this exists. I assume this is a freemium model, so get people in there, get their banks connected. Once they're connected, once they're used to the system, they're not going to go somewhere else. They'll upgrade to the Lite or then to Simple Start eventually. So I think it's a good pathway for brand new businesses. One of the things that irks me is that, this looks like a huge opportunity for accountants to have a whole bunch of new potential small business owners that are using this, but if they can't add us, and they're used to maybe us doing the accounting for them or them giving us a spreadsheet and us doing the tax returns from there, it's going to feel weird when they say, oh, I got QuickBooks, right? Because they might not know the difference. Like, it doesn't say free anywhere. It doesn't say it's a special QuickBooks. It says QuickBooks, right? And I'm a QuickBooks Pro advisor. I'm a QuickBooks expert. I'm an accountant. And they're going to say, yeah, I have QuickBooks. Can you just pull my data from there and do my tax return? And then I have to, first of all, I would have to know off the bat to ask, are you in the free edition? Because the free edition, you can't add me. 1. 2, it'll just be embarrassing saying, oh, sorry, I can't access your QuickBooks. So I'm going to have to literally badmouth QuickBooks in that client interaction. I'm going to have to say, sorry, your stupid QuickBooks free doesn't give me access to it. And that's the attitude that we have to take, because it's so frustrating at the moment that somebody has QuickBooks, but they can't add their accountant into it. So I would say, I don't know what the potential loss is for Intuit, why they restricted no accountant access. Maybe they want to test this separately without the input of accountants. Maybe they want this, unadulterated, first look group of people that give Intuit a separate type of feedback. I'm certain that when this product was created, they weren't thinking, oh, Hector's going to create a video, it's going to completely roast us on it. I'm pretty sure nobody thought about that. But this is what I do. So So I think I mean, I'm a shareholder of Intuit. Anything that grows the company, that grows the pie. I'm an accountant. I help a lot of accounting professionals get better in their business. Anything that gives us more opportunity to serve customers in the capacity that we can serve them, and this could be a potential pathway into it. Just not being able to add your accountant into this, I think is a huge non-starter for us, and accountants are only going to badmouth this product because of that particular feature. So I think Intuit should really think about that. There is a managed users area, which is normally in the regular version of QuickBooks where you go manage users. And I assume that if I click on add user, it's going to tell me I need to already be on Simple Start. That makes sense. But this is the same area where you would add an accountant, and obviously they have completely deleted, the workflow of doing that. So find that to be interesting enough. Anyway, I'm certain that there's a whole bunch of other things broken with this, and I'm certain there's a whole bunch of version 2 fixes of this that are coming, and maybe by the time you watch this video, they've already been fixed. I'm certain, I'm flexible, and I would love to be proven wrong and be told, Hector, sorry, we missed a couple of things here. We fixed it, and then within a week or two, everything is fixed and everything's working the way it's supposed to work. Because I want to know what this product is. When my clients call me and say, what do you think about the free version of QuickBooks? I can't point them to this video because it's going to be very confusing to them. It's like, Hector, what the heck are you talking about? Or I can't spend 30 minutes explaining to them something that I can draw zero benefit from as an accountant. So I think Intuit's strategy here, it's definitely not going to get accountants on board. So I would love to understand if somebody from Intuit high up there, CEO, CFO, CTO, whatever, if you want me to know what QuickBooks' clear strategy with this is, why there's a free product, where's the gap between accountants and not accountants being involved in this, contact me and I would love to understand it. And then maybe on version 2 of this video, I can be a little bit more clear to my audience on what they're looking at. For now, the only thing I have to go with, it's what I'm seeing while I test it live. Literally, I saw this for the first time as I hit record. So I didn't have any priors. So what you're seeing is what I got and it's what you got. So anyway, if you enjoy these videos, make sure you put some comments below, subscribe to the channel, tell me what else you'd like to see. What do you think about this? Is this useful at all? Or is this cool? Or, maybe which features do you think it should have or it shouldn't have as a free edition? Go in the comments and we'll engage there. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next one.